Hello there YouTube, it's me Keltick, and today I am here to talk about new Loki, as there's a new version of Loki that just got released into the game, and I'm going to talk about it so that when you go into game, you're going to have the slightest idea on what to do with this new character. Now to start things off, we have to talk about Loki's passive. Basically, every single time you are behind an enemy god, you are going to deal 20% increased damage. This is very important. Now, the first ability is simple. You just turn invisible, you move faster, and if you do hit an enemy god in stealth or shortly after coming out of stealth, that enemy is going to be marked and bleed for additional damage afterwards. The second ability is a giant circle that spreads this toxic poison. This toxic poison deals some very minor damage and lowers enemy attack power, like just damage done, by 5% a tick. This does stack up to 4 times, so this can be a 20% power reduction, but more importantly, this also allows you to proc your backstab damage from anywhere on an enemy as long as those 4 stacks are applied. And now, disclaimer, it is very hard and a little bit awkward to set up 4 stacks without further team involvement, but the integration and possibility is there. Moving forward, we have the third ability, which is just a flurry of knives. These knives come out, they are swingy, and they do proc backstab if you are oriented correctly. Basically, you do 4 or 5 little swings and then one final large swing, and this large swing does more damage and slows enemies that are hit. Now, finally, we do have Loki's ultimate, which is a little bit different, and it comes in 2 phases. The first phase, you latch onto an enemy, and you cripple them in place. The second phase is a giant cone that stuns everything for a second if you do land the cone attack. Now, just like with Loki's ultimate before, you do not need to lock on an enemy in order to teleport. And special, you also don't need to lock onto an enemy to trigger the second phase of this ability, which will lock on the stun. Now, the only other thing I can note here is after you go and lock on or use the first part of the ultimate, you do have a little bit of range of motion to then readjust and aim the stun to hit more people than you originally could have. Now from there, let's just quickly touch on a build because I'm still figuring it out, but if you want a good sample build, the one in the bottom left is your best bet. It has a lot of flat pen, and that's what you're going to need, because now that Loki can team fight, you're going to actually need to one-shot squishies, and flat pen is the best resource to do so. I personally like an Erendite because it's pretty good. Now from there, we should talk about Loki as a character. You still need to thread in auto attack cancels if you're going to succeed. It's just a little bit more dumbed down compared to the 6 auto attack cancels you'd need to do previously. Now you simply need to either blink in or engage with either your ult or your first ability, and then you go auto attack 2, auto attack 3, and then at that point you can finish with an auto attack and then get out using either your first ability or your ultimate, whichever you didn't use to engage. Now, that being said, I did say that right. You do want to save an ability to get out in a majority of circumstances, because if you don't, you are going to be a sitting duck. Now, that is the basics on new Loki. Thank you all for watching. Remember, I am streaming 4 days a week on Twitch. If you are so interested, the links are in the description down below. But if you want to keep learning Smite with me right now, click that link on your screen, and I'll see you there. Take it easy, guys.